So we're coming over the bridge, Fort Myers Beach Bridge. You can see here that they've got these cranes sitting here, and they are they're basically building a bridge to build the other bridge off of. And they've been at this for, oh geez, might even be a year. So as we come on to Fort Myers Beach, this is where Hurricane Ian pretty much made a dead hit on here in Sanibel both. Now Naples got hit, but it didn't get hit as hard, and it wasn't as much water, and they didn't get the force of the storm and the devastation that Fort Myers Beach got. So there's one of our trucks, and that's a house that we tore down. That guy paid like $1.1 million for that house right after the storm, and then a few months later he put it back on the market. So I don't know how he's going to do. There's an awful lot of available stuff, so available lots on the market here. If you are a frame house built in the 50s, 60s, 70s, you're gone. There's nothing here. A lot of these houses have been renovated at this point, and they are there's a lot of them that are coming back, but there's just as many that are just sitting and not being touched, and the city's getting pretty upset about that. What they're trying to do is get everybody to clean up their properties and help everybody else and help the whole. This is a tourist island, so if like this particular building right here, it's still empty. You know, it's been a year in September. Let's see, it's been a year in like 5 months, and they're still not in there. A lot of these buildings, they're just not occupied yet. So the unfortunate thing about the buildings is this green one right here, they're pretty far along on that one. This one over here, I don't see them hardly working on it at all. So I'm not sure what's going on. This one, they are working on it, but it's not made any significant moves, although it is freshly painted now. This one here, very very little work on that. This Caribbean, very little work on it. And this one behind here, same thing. It's, you know, they've got it painted and they got it pretty much back together, but there's nobody in them. So all these different beach properties, that one there's just a few people here. Now these buildings here, they got them back online pretty quick. And if you're walking the beach, this is an area where I walk the beach, there are a lot of people out there on the other side. There's not nearly the amount of cars that would be here than they normally would be here. Those are all 1-bedroom studios, and it's kind of set up to be rented out. Santini Plaza here is, they're getting there. You would think that they'd have a business or two open by now, but they don't. The 7-Eleven here and these buildings all surrounding the 7-Eleven, 7-Eleven's open again. It's the only one on the island. There were 4 on the island. CVS is back open, and they've been open for about 4 or 5 months. But like this building here, very few people in it. This one here sold for, someone told me, $100 million. So this used to be the Pinchers, and this is Wyndham. This building here, I think a lot of people are living in it, even though they're not done yet. And it's a large property. A lot of the outside stuff has been painted and it looks nice, and I haven't seen them doing a lot of structural stuff on it. The unfortunate thing about all these buildings is new laws came into effect, and those new laws are going to have a significant impact on these properties. The buildings are not allowed, they're not allowed to vote out the deferred maintenance anymore. They have to do deferred maintenance. A lot of these buildings have deferred their repairs for so long that they are in a situation where they are not going to be able to do that anymore. There's also a required inspection every 25 years now, and what they're doing is they're making you as a condominium you need to take and have your buildings inspected structurally. And structurally was including the roof, the windows, the doors, and the structure. That's a big deal. That's a hard thing, because these condominiums, you take all those things that they just came into play. This is where the Catholic Church was, and they're doing absolutely no work at all on the Catholic Church. These were frame houses here, and they're all gone. They're on the beaches. The beach lots here are selling for $3 to $4 million right now. If you go to Bonita, there's so few of them left. They're in the $7 million range. The difference between Bonita and Fort Myers Beach: Fort Myers Beach, the water is dirtier, and it gets affected by the Caloosahatchee draws off of the Okeechobee Lake. And look at that amazing car. Somebody's got their Chevelle out. So these houses that you're seeing that are still left, look at how many of them are gone. They are built to the codes. They're built to the 2015 code, wind codes, and I think it was the 2005 codes. So we did the demo on this one here, and it was an old hotel. All these were frame across the street. This used to be a big condominium association here, all frame, stilted, beat up so bad they just decided to just cash in, sell the land, and split the money up. So what happens now is every 25 years you have to have your building inspected, you have to have your windows inspected, you have to have your roof inspected, you have to have all your doors inspected. So those are big blows to these condominiums. The insurance, let's say your insurance used to be $220,000 a year. It's not uncommon for it to be $675,000 now. So all of these things coupled together are going to make these condominium associations on these older buildings, it's going to make them where they can't afford to rebuild them. So all these buildings here, you see the structural things on that building and the structural framing on all that building. Well, what's going on with that is they are making the repairs, the 25-year repairs. And these repairs are going to be in the millions of dollars. So let's say you've got 25 units, or let's say you have 100 units. You have 100 units, and your rent, your condominium insurance goes from $225 to $675. Well, that's going to impact your monthly nut significantly. And then if you have to make $1 million worth of repairs of deferred maintenance, that's going to impact it significantly. So what's going to happen, and this is my opinion, I've done a lot of real estate, what's going to happen is these values of these condos are going to drop significantly, because your monthly nut to carry them in the for the HOA fees is going to be so much. Or they're going to bankrupt, I guess, and start all over. I'm not sure how it's going to work. But you see all these houses here, they were frame houses, or they were houses that were built a long time ago, and they couldn't take the water. So the water on this island was between 10 and 20 feet, depending on where you are on the island. Like this particular house here that was raised already, they raised it like 5 foot farther than you had to, and it never got touched by the hurricane, but the hurricane did beat on it with cars, beat on the uprights, or the what am I trying to think of? The stilts, basically the columns. So all these houses here are all been built to the 2005 code, 150 mile per hour code. This guy right here, I tore down a couple houses for him, and he owned 2 lots here, and he's building a McMansion. There was a church here, the Baptist church, and it's completely gone. The other houses here, I've done work on both of these houses. They both were frame, and they're gone. Almost all the frame houses that were on the beach got beat to the point where they were not salvageable. So the whole island, it looks so much better than it did, but there's so much more to do. This one was owned by one of the guys that I know, and he sold it, and they think that they can rebuild it at that elevation. So they're rebuilding it. Those are all frame. Those are all Airbnb things. And then all these houses here, they've been here for a long time, and they took the storm just fine, but they still have all kinds of damage to their first floor. You know, you got to remember, inside the water there was debris floating back and forth, you know, pilings, houses, cars, and it was beating everything. So the water was rushing back and forth and back and forth. The water would have been splashing over the top of this emergency command center. So all these buildings here, they've been working on this one diligently in front of me. That's called the Caper, and we've done a bunch of work on that. We took all the tile off of all their outside walkways. So the library is still not open. I can't even imagine that. We tore one down there, and they're cleaning this one up. So the city is on everybody pretty hard, saying, look, you know, when we get to the 2-year point, which is going to be September 28th, they're going to really start getting a little difficult. This was Town Hall, and it's gone. There was a ginormous church here. It was probably 25 or 30,000 square feet. It's gone. I used to live in a house over there. It was the servants' quarters to one of the fancy houses on the beach, and Logan and I lived there for a while. We started Remove It Pros living there, and it's gone. So all these houses through here that were framed, they're all gone. Those two made it because that building shielded them, and that building built to code next to it was knocking the water down. So all these buildings in here, some of these, they haven't even touched them yet. All of this was Flanagan's, and it's gone. All these were framed, they're all gone. This one, they got it back together to the point where people are occupying it again. And this is the Diamond Head. The Diamond Head, they put it back together pretty quick. And that's been a place where they've had public meetings and stuff like that since then. This place here, half of it's gone. It was a tattoo parlor and a restaurant, and I think it was a bike rental. I think it was this bike rental. So this one here, we tore this one down not too long ago, and that's our dumpster. And the hardware store was here. He's moved across the street temporarily into that. Over here is it's another commercial center, and they gutted it, and they haven't done anything to it. This condo here, they got on it early, and they got it done, and it's almost done. I heard the Lani Kai. There's been speculation that the Lani Kai was not going to get to be rebuilt, but it is. So, and it's supposed to open up any day now. They did have one of their bars open, and they were servicing people out on the beach and doing their normal beach stuff, where they rent you the chairs and stuff, and you could rent wave runners and water things, and they have all that there, and that is done. So I see here, this is, I was showing this to somebody the other day. You can't park on a vacant lot here, and this is Margaritaville. I'm a certified general contractor here, and I just learn these rules as I encounter them. And you're not allowed to have a parking lot without having a building. Well, all of a sudden this building just showed up. So I guess they're going to put that in, and that'll give them the right to have all this parking here. This parking is being used for the new Margaritaville. That's where their employees are parking. This turned out to be Fort Myers Beach's savior, because without this as a cornerstone, it would be a very difficult thing for Fort Myers Beach to be dealing with. It really has helped. It's got a bunch of different restaurants in it. It's amazing. And they fought it for years, and they finally got to put it in. This park here used to be sand lot volleyball stuff, and it's now just a big sand lot. And as you come in here, we're going to, that's my guys way off in the distance up onto that lift. So what they're doing is they are getting the guy here, this is one of my buddies. He owns a tremendous amount of property here, and he is what do you call it? He's redoing everything. I don't want to tell you the rest of the stuff because it was personal to him. But so he owns this big building to the left. He owns that building. That's one of my trucks right there. He owns the one across the street. He owns the ones next to that. He owns the parking lots next to this, the parking lots there. And he owns a whole bunch of stuff over by Margaritaville. And this is a bunch of my guys up here working, and they're getting all of this stuff off. And them guys are up there getting the facade on this. So this is what we're hoping will eventually become the next walking area. It would be a lot easier. Times Square is going to take a long time to get it rebuilt. It would be very nice if they just blocked off this street and made this the new Times Square. So it's funny, there's that truck that we just saw turn in front of us before. So at any rate, this is the other part of Fort Myers Beach. It's really rocking, and this is Wahoo Willie's. They just finished it up before the hurricane, built to hurricane code, took it just fine. It would have had water all the way up in it, about 20 feet in this area. So they rebuilt this here. This is our little Bayside Park. Nervous Nellie's is back open. Snug Harbor's open. Matanzas is only open on the second floor. They got their rooms back together pretty quick. And so at any rate, this is Fort Myers Beach, and I'm just giving you a little rundown, the little bit of stuff that I know living here and what we dealt with and what's been put back together. And so much of this stuff is gone. You know, just think about this. The day of the storm, for 10 hours, there was water all the way across this island, all the way down this island, and it was 10 to 20 feet, and it went on for 10 hours. There's a lot of people that died. There's a lot of people, and I'm one of them. You don't believe it's actually going to hit and where you're at, and if it does hit, you don't think it's going to be that bad. And I almost stayed. I thank God that he convinced me to go. So this is the other part. These are the rest of the buildings that this guy owns, that owns all that stuff over on the main street. So people just, there's so many false alarms with these hurricanes. So what happens is people just don't pay any attention to it. So, and a lot of the old timers, they've been through a lot of hurricanes, even bad ones, and they weathered them just fine. And a lot of those people, they're dead. They didn't make it because they got into water that was 20 foot high, that was churning through 150 mile per hour winds. And there in front of us would be the Times Square. I just went around the block. Everything that was on the ocean side on Times Square is gone. Most of the stuff on the other side of Times Square is gone. Some of these were very good built, very well built buildings. They just got beat to crap from all the debris from that from the pier. So again, we're going back over here. I'm going to do some video on this this thing that we're taking apart for my buddy, and I just wanted to give you that rundown of Fort Myers Beach. Fort Myers Beach, this is what is today? This is May 2nd. So Fort Myers Beach, May 2nd, 2024, State of the Union, the way I see it. Like that place right there, I mean, just look at it. It's just devastated. You know, the rule here is you got to let if somebody's standing next to the crosswalk, you got to let them go across. And so many people, I guess, are so used to people ignoring that they stand there and look at you. So, but I'm a local. I stop. I think it's a good idea to stop. I think it's good for everybody to do that. So it's Remove It Pros Demolition, Dave Lockwood, and I'll see you on the next video.